what can you actually do to eliminate as much risk as possible? Well, I could spend hours going through that, but the number one thing would be to manage your risk and have a very clear risk management process. So for example, a lot of traders have got a fairly decent strategy that they're running. It might be in the 60-70% win-loss ratio, but they're risking 5 or 6% per trade. So straight away, they're in the gambling area. They've moved across to the wrong side of the coin. So the key thing is to have a maximum level of risk that you're going to be at. So for example, we say to traders as a blanket rule, risk no more than 1%. So we have different strategies. One of our position-based strategies, you actually risk 2.5% per trade. So that sounds like that we are, pushing it and we're breaking our rules. But the reason why we risk 2.5% on that strategy is very simply because we only trade that strategy 12 times a year. So that strategy has a low trade frequency, so we are able, based on the data that we have, to risk slightly more per trade. But as a day trader, you might be placing 2 or 3, 4 or 5 trades a day, so risking 2.5% is too much. So it's important that your risk level is capped. And where I see traders go wrong, it's very subtle, is they might be ticking along nicely, risking 1% per trade, regardless of the result, and then they hit a losing run, and suddenly they're risking 2, 3, or even 4% a trade to try and make back their losses really quickly. And the most dangerous phrase in trading, I say this all the time, is just this once. And any of the traders that are watching or listening to this, I'm sure you've had a situation where you've gone, just this once, I'll do this. I won't do it again, just this once, I'll double up on my risk once this trade wins. Because what traders will do is they will convince themselves that something is going to happen. And as soon as you do that, you're moving into that gambling arena because you do not know what is going to happen. And this can happen to convince yourself to do something you wouldn't, or it can happen when you're on a winning run because you start to think that you somehow know what is going to happen next. And the challenge with that is you start doing things that you shouldn't do. So ultimately, to summarize, trading itself or Forex trading itself is not gambling. Does it carry an element of risk? Yes. Do you want it to carry an element of risk? Yes, because then there is the potential for reward. But what you should be asking yourself as a trader or working with a trader who understands this is clearly making sure how you mitigate that risk as much as you possibly can.